All right, what is going on, Jerron Mob? It is your Don Jerron Mon with another episode of the Sneaker Show. But yes, you guys are right in the chat. You already know I was watching the Lakers game, and man, oh man, can we get a hell yeah, brother? Woo, what a shot, AD, man. My reaction to it, you could hear my voice is a little raspy because I was yelling at the top of my lungs. That was an incredible shot. I'm so glad that I delayed the Sneaker Show a few minutes just to see that shot. You know, those Mamba jerseys, they got something in them, man. They got some special secret sauce in them. Like the Looney Tunes had Michael's secret stuff, right? And it was the water bottle, and they drank it and they got the superpowers, but it wasn't really anything, right? The Mamba jerseys are kind of like that, man, for the Lakers. We don't lose in them. AD said it. They never want to lose in them. So what an incredible game. Probably the best moment of the playoffs so far. That was awesome, but it's got me really hyped. And speaking of the Lakers, we have a lot to talk about tonight with the LeBron 18. So it was officially unveiled. So get ready to cop or drop a lot of sneakers, because besides of the LeBron 18, we have a lot to get through on today's Sneaker Show. But let's just get straight to it. Let me switch the screen. Hold on one second. Of course, since we delayed the Sneaker Show, I had to just start the stream without double checking everything. But here they are, the LeBron 18. Now, a lot has come out about the LeBron 18 this past week. A lot of release dates, 3 colorways, all of that stuff. But I think Nike has done an incredible job with this press release of showing us really what's inside the LeBron 18. And as someone who loves playing in basketball sneakers, plays in a lot of basketball sneakers, and obviously reviews a lot of basketball sneakers, this information is not only helpful for me as a reviewer, but it is extremely interesting, and it gets me even more excited for the LeBron 18, because the 18 was already a cop, right? You guys know that. But hey, shout out to John Rojero. Hopefully I'm saying that right, for the super chat. It looks like he's all the way from the Philippines. Pinoy Pride, my guy. Thank you so much for joining the Sneaker Show. But check it out here. So this is from news.nike.com, and we have some images to go along with this. So stay with me here, guys. There he is. Jan Rojero donated through the super chat. But here we go. Here's the first thing you guys need to know about the LeBron 18. Max Air and Zoom Air are used in a new way. So if you read through this, they're basically saying an Air Max unit in the heel is augmented by a full length Zoom bag. The two are integrated with one another, the Zoom bag extending into the heel cavity and replacing what was previously foam. So that's awesome. We're getting full-length Zoom, which we already knew about the LeBron 18, but they're replacing areas that were foam with Zoom, which is obviously better. And Zoom is probably my favorite cushioning setup of all time. So that gets me really excited. But it's easy for them to say this, but they actually show us as well. So if we scroll down here we go. Here's a little breakdown. Hopefully, is this image... Let's see if I can enlarge this image for you guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's go down to the breakdown. Let's see. It's got to be up top. Here we go. All right, here's the breakdown of the LeBron 18. Now, as you can see, we have full-length Zoom here. 10mm full-length Zoom bag, which is absolutely incredible. That's going to feel good. If they just put that would have been good already. But not only do they put that, they also have a Cushlon midsole, which is awesome. We all love Cushlon. I love it. I think it's Nike's best foam. I like it better than React. I liked it better than Lunar. Cushlon is one of my favorites, and I love it here as kind of a carrier for the midsole of the Zoom Air and the Max Air technology. And then you have Max Air. I don't know if it's a 270 bag. It kind of looks like a 270 bag. Either way, it's a very powerful Max Air unit. And we know that the design, Nike has been marketing it as kind of a two-tone design. So the front is all about speed while the back is is power. And you see this throughout the press releases, right? So if you see the full-length zoom, max air, and then you see this little crevice here. Let's see if I could zoom in more on that. There's a little crevice here, so it's kind of like a U shape. It looks like a horseshoe, right, guys? The zoom air is going to fit in that crevice, so your heel is not only going to be, you know, kind of surrounded on the outside of your heel with that max air, but the center of it is going to have that responsive and bouncy zoom air, not the max air. So it's really the best of both worlds, and this is really, really getting me excited for the LeBron 18. And if it wasn't a cop already, it is now an instant cop based on what I'm seeing here. Just performance wise, this is absolutely incredible. And I've said it before, this looks more like a successor to the LeBron 16, which was one of my favorite shoes of all time, particularly in that season that they dropped. I absolutely loved playing in the LeBron 16. So the LeBron 18 looks like what the LeBron 17 should have. And I think the LeBron 17 was an okay shoe. It just wasn't as good as the 16. What surprised me the most about the 16 was how versatile it was, because in years past, LeBron shoes have been so overpowering. For someone like myself, they've kind of been, you know, I've been a little standoffish on it because it's just too much power for a mere mortal like myself, right? But the LeBron 16 was so versatile. I felt like a lot of players with a lot of different play styles could use the LeBron 16. The LeBron 17 went back to that overpowerness, that almost, how do I say? It's almost like an embarrassment of riches when it comes to power in the LeBron 17. But the 18 looks like it brings it back a little bit, but still retains some power in the heel. You could see that 270 Air Max unit in the heel, which is going to feel great. But the forefoot, you know, is going to feel very responsive. You're going to have that court feel. And Nike says here in these press releases that LeBron has always wanted that court feel, which I think is funny because that's the one thing LeBron sneakers have lacked throughout the years. They've been too overpowering, like I said. So it's funny that they're finally coming around and giving LeBron what they say he wants. My only concern is maybe this is too much, and maybe it just feels a little too convoluted and too crowded. But, you know, I'm going to give Nike the benefit of the doubt here. And this is just a beautiful looking sneaker as well, in my opinion. And you can also see right here, here's a little mock-up of how it looks like when someone's foot is in the excuse me, I'm still flustered from that game winner. How the LeBron's 18 looks like with someone's foot in it. So you can see it's kind of surrounded. It kind of looks like a hovercraft, right? So the outside of the hovercraft, and then you got the zoom air, which is still big, right? 10 millimeters. That's a pretty hefty zoom air unit. Man, it just, the cushioning looks absolutely incredible with the LeBron 18. But that's not all, guys. That's not all. Here's the second thing you need to know about the LeBron 18. The knit is a mix of LeBron's favorite. Now, the knit posit material is great. I don't know what the difference between knit posit and battle knit is. I like battle knit more than knit posit, but it looks like they're going with knit posit 2.0 here, which we saw knit posit in the 17s, which I thought looked visually great. And performance-wise, it was awesome as well. I think battle knit was more, you know, durable, and I like that setup more because of its durability. But knit posit, you could argue, was more sock-like and more comfortable. And the knit posit was in the 17, where battle knit was in the 16. So here Nike is saying for the 18, knit posit 2.0 upper follows a special recipe. There's raised dimensions from the 15's battle knit, high intensity yarns from the 16, and the TPU yarns that compose the 17's exoskeleton. So if we could take a look at some of the photos here, here's the LeBron 17, and what they're talking about are those fuse overlays that look like ink drops on the upper, right? They're saying that some of that is coming on here for the LeBron 18. Are there any more photos? They're not showing the LeBron 16 any love. Here's the 15, where we first saw battle knit. It looked like a dragon skin upper. But in terms of the upper, I have some more images here. Here's a close-up image right here. This looks very comfortable. Now, it's a knitted material, which is probably my favorite thing to play basketball in, so I'm glad it's there. But the thing about knit posit and battle knit is the one weakness of a knitted upper is the durability, right? Battle Knit was very durable. Knitposit, not so much, except in the heel. It was very durable in the heel because of those, kind of posit overlays, which weren't posit, actually. It was just fuse. But the upper looks very, very comfortable here. So Vibe Rock in the chat says mega cop. Absolutely mega cop for the LeBron 18. Let's move on here. Now, the last two things, there's more expressions of air. I think what Nike is referring to is the air units on the tongue. You can see here you have 3 air units on each side of the tongue. That is not going to be, anything you have to be worried about performance-wise. It's just a visual thing. So that's cool, I guess. I personally don't like this. It's going to yellow. I don't really like the translucent thing on top of the otherwise clean upper. But, they're expressing air, which Nike is known for, embellishing their technology. So, I mean, I guess it's cool. I could live without it. They also say the traction is refined. It says a focus on improved ride works its way into the traction through generative design. I don't know what that means. The LeBron 17's traction, in my opinion, was a step back for the LeBron 16. The LeBron 16's traction was absolutely beastly, both indoors and outdoors, whereas the 17's, it was a lot flatter. It was a tighter pattern, so dust could get caught in between there, and the outsole did not peak, so it didn't really grab or bite the floor as well as I would like it to. Now, if we take a look at the outsole of the 18s, there's some things I like and some things that I don't like. If you look at the forefoot, let's see, can I zoom this in anymore? That's about as high as I could get it, guys. The forefoot looks more like the LeBron 17, where it has a flatter pattern. It seems a little spaced out more, but what I don't like is towards the front of the shoe, the pattern gets tighter and tighter, which I don't like. I wish it was more spaced out like it is here underneath the ball of your feet, but at least it is spaced out underneath the ball of your feet, so that's good news there. But yeah, this pattern, it doesn't look like it peaks. It depends, though. If the rubber compound is very tacky, this is not going to be an issue. But if the rubber compound is similar to the LeBron 17, which I don't think it is because the LeBron 17 uses a translucent outsole, whereas this is a solid rubber outsole, I think the rubber compound is going to be tackier here on the 18s. But then you look at the midfoot, it's kind of weird. You have like a 3-piece design. You have this grid pattern in the forefoot. You have these diamond patterns with nubs inside them in the midfoot, and then on the back you kind of have I don't know what to call this, kind of like a goosebump material on the back. I don't know why they didn't just go with a full length pattern, but it is what it is. I never understood traction patterns that are like this, where it's just different. It looks like they're trying to change it up visually, but no one looks at the bottom of your feet, right? It's on the bottom. So why would the traction need to, have any storytelling or whatever? It's really just for nerds like us who, dive deep into sneakers, but whatever. Anyways, I think this traction in the forefoot would have been interesting. Those nubs, maybe here on the outside or maybe underneath some hot spots on the ball of your feet, like right here and right here. That would have been interesting. I don't really know what to think of the traction. A big part about traction, it really comes down to the rubber compound. So like I said, if it's tacky, I've seen great traction patterns with bad rubber compounds, ruin the traction experience. And I've seen bad patterns with great rubber compounds provide amazing experiences. So really, it's not 100% down to the rubber compound, but a big part of it does come down to how sticky, how tacky, and how malleable that rubber compound is. But not too malleable, because you could end up slipping like I did in the Zoom Freak 2, which I have a video coming up about very, very soon. So this is the James Gang colorway of the LeBron 18. Let me know what you guys think about this particular colorway right now in the chat. Is this a cop or a drop? Because Nike unveiled 3 colorways of the LeBron 18. Here's the James Gang one, which we have talked about a little in the sneaker show before. The standout feature is probably this graffiti with this translucent heel cup, which I really like that design. I like how the pattern kind of goes through that heel cup. But then you also have this Reflections colorway, which is more kind of like a Laker colorway, right? Both in LA and in Minnesota, right? You have those sky blue hints, and then you have yellow, and of course you have purple for, you know, the LA Lakers. This is an interesting colorway though. I'm not sure how I feel about it totally, but again, great. I love that heel cup. I absolutely love it. I love the design. I love the, you know, sharp angle. I love how it kind of, you know, comes off of the shoe for some depth and some I don't know how to say this, some three-dimensionality. But again, I love how that graphic is coming through that milky translucent. I just think it's a beautiful design. This is also great as well. And then of course you have the jade colorway. Let's see if I could pop up some photos here for you guys. And then you have this colorway, which it's very, very light in this photo, but it's kind of like a mint green. And then you have, you know, these red hits. I actually like this colorway. Yes, I would take the tackle off. I would not wear it. Or not the tackle, the tassel. I would take it off, but I think without the tassel, it's a great looking colorway. My favorite is probably this jade colorway, the Jade Empire colorway. I like this colorway the most. If Nike hit me up and said, yo, we want to send you a LeBron 18, which of the 3 colorways would you like? I would pick the jade colorway. Which one would you guys pick? Let me know right now, and I go through some of the responses in the chat. Would you go with the jade one? Would you go with the James Gang one, which I have right here? Or would you go with the Reflections? Let me know right now. Like I said, I'm going with the jade one. Second place, probably the James Gang. I like it. And then the last one, the Reflections. I don't like the laces, the tongue, but the heel cup is probably the best out of all 3. I really like that design on the heel cup, but other than that, I'm just not really feeling the Reflection ones. Sharp Young, shout out to Sharp Young. He's been killing it, coming to every single stream. He says that he would like the jade colorway. Rifted also says jade, but Dylan Stream, shout out to Dylan, says he would go with the Reflections, and so does John. However, Sultana says James Gang, but I think most of you guys are going with the jade colorway. I'm seeing a lot of jades. Josiah, our moderator, thanks so much, brother. He says the colorways aren't doing it for him, but he would probably pick the jades. So I think the Jerome Mob is right there with me. The jade colorway is probably where it's at. Now let's find out when the release dates are for these. The James Gang is retailing for $200. Oh my gosh. Wow, $200 is a lot, but it's still an Instacart for me. I wish it was more like $160, but I get it. There's a lot of tech. It's LeBron James. He should have the most expensive Nike signature sneaker. I understand it. It is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. October 9th for the James Gang colorway. The Reflections. Let's see if there's a release date. September 18th for $225. Why? Why are the Reflections more? I don't get that. What's the difference? I'm trying to look. Let's see. You would think this has more because of the air units on the tongue, right? Maybe Kicks on Fire got their price wrong. Interesting. What does Nike say? September 21st for the Jade colorway exclusively throughout Greater China. Okay, but they don't give a price. So that's interesting. Hopefully most of the colorways are $200. And man, these look absolutely incredible in hand. I really like how the LeBron 18 looks. I'm very excited to get these. Very excited. I just wish I could play basketball in them. That's the only thing, right, guys? But now Sharp is dropping for $200. Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive. Roman says, I wish they'd release a Grinch colorway for this. A Grinch colorway would look very nice, Roman. I absolutely agree with you. But you don't want to pound the Grinch colorway into the ground. It's really a Kobe thing. Converse touched on it. They dabbed in it a little bit. But the Grinch colorway is so tied to the Kobe signature line that, you know, I mean, I'd imagine they want to keep it that way. They don't want to, you know, put it throughout all all the other signature lines, even though it's a dope colorway. It's one of the greatest colorways in recent history. But there you guys have it. That's pretty much the breakdown of the LeBron 17. Again, I am very, very excited for this release. I will be trying to cop on day one. I'm very excited about them. That's pretty much all I have to say. But I hope you guys are excited as well. But for $200, I could see why you wouldn't be excited. But let's move on here. We have another LeBron sneaker that we're going to go through here. It's a leak, so we don't have that many photos, but it is the LeBron 8 in a gym red colorway. The LeBron 8 was, in my opinion, the LeBron that took it to another level in the sneaker community, because that's when the South Beach colorway came out. And I just feel like it elevated it, and it got so much more hype than it previously got. So the LeBron 8 in the gym red colorway, red's my favorite color. You could see the glow-in-the-dark outsole. I think it's interesting. I'm going to drop these. I'm not the biggest fan of the LeBron 8. Again, it reminds me of an era where LeBrons were just too powerful. You have those heavier materials, that large air unit, which is heavy. It just wasn't for me, but I know a lot of fans out there love the LeBron 8. So I'm going to leave these for those fans, okay? So I'm not going to cop these and take that opportunity away from those fans. But these are expected to drop. We don't know when, but it is a leak, so be on the lookout for these. Sharp is copping in the chat. Gaming Cantaloupe is mega dropping these. Really? You really don't like these? Is it because of the glow-in-the-dark outsole? Gaming Cantaloupe, because glow-in-the-dark could be tacky. And I think this would look cleaner with a white outsole or a black outsole. Throw a red bottom on there. Throw in a slightly tinted blue translucent outsole as well. The glow-in-the-dark outsole is not the best option here, in my opinion. But again, maybe this is just a milky translucent bottom that glows in the dark. So maybe it's not green when you're looking at it, you know, in regular light. So that would be a saving grace for it. But Joel says lace swap might be the move here. Yeah, you're right. Black laces, Joel, or white laces? Maybe even green laces. You could go all out with the Christmas theme, right? But yeah, I think a lace swap would be pretty good on these. Maybe even some yellow laces, some, you know, deep yellow, like a university gold lace could do that. Look good as well, because you're kind of seeing some yellow around the stitching or the piping here. I'm not really too sure. It's not the greatest photo. But Joel says black laces. Yeah, that probably would be the best option. It would. All right. Most of you guys are dropping these, by the way, in the chat. I'd say it's about 90 to 80% drop on the LeBron 8 Gym Red. We have another LeBron here. It is the LeBron Soldier 14 Laker colorway. What's going on here? It could have been great. It could have been great. Yes, the LeBron Soldier 14 is a weird-looking sneaker. But I like the two-tone. I like it. I like the yellow. I like the purple. But what is going on with the midsole? Gray? Why? And then look at the TPU piece. Navy? Why? Why is that navy? The Lakers don't have navy. They don't. And this gray is just so boring. If it was a lighter gray, maybe, because light gray and purple goes well together. But this kind of medium tone gray, it's almost dark gray. I don't like that. And then the black outsole on the purple pair, but a white outsole on the yellow pair? Why? I don't like that. That's weird. No.
Bruh.
I don't like that, right? Sharp is copying these. Oh, Joy says SpongeBob and Patrick inspired colorway. That's funny. If this was pink, it definitely would be a SpongeBob colorway. But yeah, I don't understand why Nike went with gray here. I mean, one thing can ruin a shoe, and it's not just one thing with these. It's three things: this gray midsole, this blue piece, and the different colored outsoles. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I'm not. Ethan says he really doesn't like these. Mega drop. I'm right there with you, Ethan. I don't like these at all. But $140. Man, Nike messed up on that one. Nike messed up on that one. All right, let's move on. I'm very excited about this one, guys. Now, last week on the Sneaker Show, we talked about the Air Jordan 35, right? So now we're getting a detailed look. We had a very limited look at the Jordan 35. A couple of guys in the league, Jeff Green, PJ Tucker, they wore them on the court. But other than that, we just got some sketches and maybe like one official photo. But now we're getting a lot of photos. So check this out, guys. This is our best look at the Jordan 35, which, again, I'm very excited for performance-wise. I'm just opening all the photos here really quickly. Hold on. Give me a second here. There's a lot of photos. This is a good look at the Jordan 35. All right, so here's the side view. I just think that eclipse plate design where you can see through the shoe is... it's just awesome, man. I really, really, really like that. I think it grabs the attention. I think it's great. I'm not sure how I feel about the gradient design. It's probably just the colors that I'm not a fan of because I usually like gradients. And again, I think that this material right here, this iridescent material, throws off the sneaker a lot. But I love that eclipse plate design. It is absolutely beautiful. Here's the medial side. Pretty much the same thing. Here's a top-down view. Here's what they're going to look like on feet, guys. And I think they look cool. It kind of reminds me of the Yeezy 700s or whatever those are called, the 350s or whatever the Wave Runners are. This is kind of what it reminds me of. And I think it looks pretty good on feet. But again, I do have some concerns that this is going to be a heavier, more bulkier shoe than the 34 because what I loved about the 34 was how light and fast it was. This looks like a more powerful version, which makes sense if Zion's going to be wearing them, right, guys? Here's the heel. Extremely well padded collar area. Looks comfortable, but again, is it going to be as fast and as speedy as the 34? Probably not. Here's the traction, which we did not get a good look of. So let's take a look here. Multi-directional herringbone. It looks a little shallow. It looks tight, so that could cause some issues. But if the rubber compound is really, really good, Houston, we are not going to have a problem. But there is a slight chance that this traction could disappoint because it looks almost identical to the 34's outsole, but a lot tighter. It looks a lot tighter. Quad says that these came out in Asia. He saw a review. He said they're not as bouncy, but are a little more flexible than the 34. Other than that, they are the same. Also, a bread colorway would be fire. Thank you, Quad, for the insight. Thank you very much. That helps out the community a lot. That's interesting that they're not as bouncy. Maybe it's because that zoom bag in the forefoot we saw from the deconstructed photos was articulated, and maybe that affected the bounciness of that unit in the forefoot. Who knows? But here are some close looks at the materials. It looks decent quality. Look at the grain right here on the outside of the shoe, or the inside, I mean. The grain looks pretty good. So this material, you can see the materials are fraying a little bit, which is a good sign on the edges here of a decent quality cut material. And you have that juxtaposed with this high-tech, mesh fabric with this grid overlay for extra durability, which I think visually looks pretty cool. You're mixing, raw materials with futuristic materials. I really like how that looks here. And then you have that exposed stitching, which, as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of. But I think the materials look interesting here. They look comfortable. I have no problems with them. Here's the back. You can see the inside of the tongue. Looks very well padded. Doesn't look very well ventilated. The 34's tongue was so light and so thin. This is the opposite. It looks very well padded. And of course, the tongue is designed after the Air Jordan 5. It would have been interesting to see, because the Jordan 5 is notorious for having that extremely well padded tongue. So I understand why they went with it here. But it also would have been interesting to see Jordan remix that tongue to a high-tech version like we saw on the 34 and just make that Jordan 5 design of the tongue thin and light. I think that would have been cool, and it would have took the Jordan 5's design into the future. I think that would have been very, very cool. Here's the last photo here of the heel. You can see the midsole. Here's a better look at the traction now. Okay, so this this looks interesting. It looks like the traction peaked, so that's good news. And that's something that the 34s did, so I'm glad to see it here. But it still looks significantly more shallow than the 34's traction. The 34 had a surprisingly deep tread. This looks more shallow, so that's the only concern I have. The fact that it's shallow and a tighter pattern. But the outsole looks like it peaks. It's going to grab and bite the floor. And the pattern itself is fundamentally sound. So I think if I had to guess, the traction would be a good here, especially since the rubber compound they used on the 34 was tacky. I don't know why they would switch it up on the 35. But I mean, we all know what you guys think about the 35. We talked about them last week. For me, it's an absolute instant cop. When are they dropping? It says hitting shelves soon. So we don't officially know yet. But whenever it is, I definitely will be insta-copying a pair for myself. Let's move on. The Kyrie 7. We're getting a good look at the Kyrie 7 in a Hendrix colorway. So here's the thing about this colorway. I think if you didn't know what the inspiration behind the colorway was, we wouldn't like it. We'd be like, it's too busy. It looks like a kid's shoe. There's a ton of colors. Nothing really matches. It's and not only is the colorway busy, but the shoe itself is very busy too, right? I mean, there's a lot going on here. In fact, it almost looks like one of those, you know, sneakers from the Kyrie hybrid line. You know, it looks crazy. But since this is a Jimi Hendrix inspired colorway, that's pretty cool. I think that's cool, and that changes my thoughts on these. Is it an insta cop? No. Is it a cop for me? Maybe. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Jimi Hendrix is awesome. We all love him. If you don't know who he is, he was a famous guitar player who died relatively young. Crazy lifestyle. But anyways, crazy style as well. Here's the Kyrie 7. Now, this is our best look at the Kyrie 7. So we've seen the ladder on the medial side. We've seen that before, but we have not seen the top down. Check this out. Now, originally, I thought that these straps on the side would go over the tongue, but they don't. They stop right there, and I think that looks really weird from the top down. I really do. But I just think it looks... That's an interesting design choice from Nike, but it is what it is. I don't like the materials of those straps, or I don't even know if you could call those straps. Those, what would we even call that? But hey, we got another one from John Rojero, 50 PHP. Thank you so much, my guy. He says, why is my guy Jaramon so underrated though? Hey man, it's not about being rated. It's just about, you know, the Mamba mentality. You know what I mean? I just try to put the best out there for you guys. But let's get back to the Kyrie 7. Here's the heel. You can see the special, you know, Jimi Hendrix inspired logo. I think it's pretty cool with the very psychedelic design on the heel cup. I kind of like the heel design of the midsole. You can kind of see, some depth and some 3D, There's that term again. We don't even know if it's a real term. But look at the traction, guys. Wow. Okay, so the traction, this is interesting. It looks flat, right? The traction pattern looks flat. It's an inverted pattern. It's very busy. It could potentially be very good both indoors and out. It kind of looks like a bike tire, right, guys? I know the black color is helping me think that a lot, but it's a very interesting pattern. I could see this dust getting in between, but there's some pretty nicely spaced out areas, especially in the middle of the shoe. Looks like towards the edges it gets very, very tight, particularly in the heel. But again, you have that rounded outsole design, so it should be a very smooth transition. But I don't know. I think a lot of you guys are dropping these in the chat. My guy Joy says it looks like the Kyrie 5 plus 6 equals the 7. I absolutely agree with you. It looks like a hybrid. It really does. But I just thought that this colorway was a very interesting concept, the inspiration behind it. I don't think there's any, release information fall season. So there you guys have it. But yeah, there's the Kyrie 7. All right, next up, speaking of the Kyrie hybrid line, we have some Kyrie hybrids here to look at. We have a what the colorway. Now here it is, the Kyrie hybrid S2 what the. Do we have more photos? Yeah, we do. I have to say, now I know I've talked bad about the Kyrie or the what the series. You know, what happened to it? It used to be so good and then Nike kind of fell off with it. I have to say, I actually like this one. I actually do. I like that pattern on the upper that's black and white and you sprinkle it with color in other areas. I do. I think the heel cup looks great on this. I like the, you know, neutral toned outsole and midsole, that hot pink, that green. I wish the blue was a little more vibrant, but it is what it is. It's more like a teal. I like this colorway. It's a cop. I do. I don't know what else to say. I think it's clean. I really do. Here's the medial side, Illuminati pattern on the, what is it? I keep saying Lotus flytrap, but I think it's Venus flytrap. I think it looks good. I think this colorway looks great. You know, you have two-tone design here. Look at that. That looks cool. The other upper is different. I like these. I think it's cool, and I think a lot of you guys like these as well. G says, I like it. Gaming Cantaloupe says, wow, cop. Absolutely. I think.
Wow.
There you go. Wow, cop. Josiah says, it's all right. Not bad. Yeah, I really like these. I think a lot of you guys like these as well. Vibe Rock says, cop. He actually says copy. Vibe says cop. Arthur says cop. So a lot of you guys are copping. Yeah, it's a beautiful colorway. Now, there's another what the colorway of the Kyrie Hybrid S2, but I think all of us kind of cop here. Here's the second one. Not as nice. Not as nice. You can see what they did here with the whole forest style pattern, but that shade of green, it needs to be lighter. It reminds me of horse crap. I said what I said. I said what I said. I said what I said. Usually I really like green with bright orange, that whole hunter colorway. I usually really, really like that in a lot of things. My technology, my sneakers, my clothes. But I'm just not feeling it here. It's a missed opportunity. Then you have this weird sky blue swoosh. Yeah, it's just not working for these. These are a drop. Could be a mega drop.
Bruh.
Not liking it. Not liking it at all. Sus Avocado, what a funny name. Speaking of avocado, it's kind of an avocado colorway, right? You have the greens. Why are they blue, though? I just don't understand it. It's so weird. The red, I don't mind. That's fine. Yeah, I don't like these. It's a drop. Rifted says, trashy trash. Rifted really doesn't like these. Rifted is tilted. But Luke Schmidt, shout out to my guy, Luke. Good to see you, my man. He likes these. He's copping them. But I think it's about 90% drop on this particular colorway. I don't blame you guys. It's not the best. All right, let's move on. Okay, so this we don't have an official photo of, but it is newsworthy. The Kobe 6 Protro Chaos is going to release next year. I think we all kind of knew this, but I just thought I would remind you guys. I think I could speak for everyone in the chat that this is going to be it is anything Kobe wise. It does kind of make me sad because I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to get these. I know if I really want them, I'm probably going to have to pay over retail. It makes me sad that I can't get the Kobe's for retail, but you know, I mean, it's America. It's a free country. Resellers can do their thing. You know, that's America. You know, that's what it is. But it does make me sad that I'm probably going to have to go through some things to get these. But I think I can speak for everyone. It's an Instacop. Like I said, these are going to be releasing next year. This is one of the more popular colorways in the entire Kobe signature line. I think the Grinches are better. Boy, the Grinches, though. I hope Nike makes like 5 million pairs. They would sell them. They would sell them, right? 5 million pairs, because you would think people would want to double up on them. But yeah, the Grinches are going to be a pain in the butt to get, and so are these. It looks like 100%. Oh, no, we got a couple drops. Aiden says drop. Abi Bandaru. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. He's also dropping, but everyone else, it looks like a cop. It looks like a cop. Josiah says he wants a cop, but the orange is throwing me off. Josiah, this is more of a bright crimson. In this photo, it looks more orange. But let's see if I could bring up another photo. All right. Here it is. It's more of like a mango or a crimson. It's not quite orange. There's a little red in there. So hopefully that helped you out here. But here they are. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's an Instacop. All right, next up. Okay, this is a fun one, guys. This is a fun one. Now, if you've been watching NBA Kicks, you have already seen this. But in case you haven't, New Balance and Jolly Rancher team up to give Kawhi Leonard a collaboration on his first signature sneaker. I guess Kawhi really likes Jolly Ranchers. I think Jolly Ranchers are good. I haven't had a Jolly Rancher in a long time. I haven't been to the doctor in a long time. Usually in the waiting room, there's some Jolly Ranchers there waiting for you. But let me know what you guys think about this colorway. I don't think it's the Kawhi's greatest moment here. I mean, it's cool that it's a collab, but you know, I've never been a fan of primary colors like this, especially all together. It looks like a kid's shoe. That's just all I have to say. But if you look at the logo here, it's a Jolly Rancher logo, but the fruit isn't happy. They're kind of, you know, stoic to match Kawhi's personality. So I think that's awesome. And again, the collaboration is cool itself, but the sneaker, I wouldn't rock these personally. I wouldn't. So I'm going to drop these. It's not a mega drop, but I'm going to drop these. Now, this blue colorway is cool, and you can see that there's some other New Balance models with this, you know, collaboration, as well as some slides. But the blue colorway is probably better than the white colorway, in my opinion. The blue colorway, I would rock. I would cop, but I'm not going to because the Kawhi is one of the toughest shoes to get, and I have no idea why. I just don't think they're making enough pairs. They always seem to sell out. They're hard to get, especially in these types of colorways that New Balance hypes up. So, but the blue is better than the white one. I think a lot of you guys might agree with me. What do you guys think? Is the blue better than the white? However, a lot of you guys are copping in the chat, but some people like Arthur are mega dropping, and so is Boba. Boba says, drop. Yeah, you know, it's okay. I think here they are, the shoes. These are okay. But the primary colors, it gets me. I'm not a huge fan of the primary colors, I have to say. Now, these already dropped. They're probably sold out already. Let's go to New Balance, in fact. You know, if somebody... So, I gave a good review for the... not the Kawhi, the Omnises. But then the Omnises were hard to get. But I haven't even got the Kawhi. In fact, New Balance hit me up. They did. In my DMs. They said, hey, we want to put you on the seating list. Give us your information. And I did that. And I saw some people get the Kawhi, but I did not. I don't hold it against them. I understand. You got to get it to the people that you need to promote the shoe. But I did have the most viewed performance review of the Omnises. And I think the Kawhi would have done very well as well, but I didn't get the shoe. But let's just say I wanted to get the Kawhi. Let's just say I wanted to get it on my own. I don't need New Balance to send it to me. Let's see if I could do that. Let's go to New Balance. Basketball. All right, I see some Omnis lows. I see some Omnis highs, but I see no Kawhis. So even if I got the shoe and I gave it a glowing review, which you guys watched, and now based on that review, you'd want the shoe, there's no way for you to get it. It's a bummer. It really is, because I think New Balance is doing some awesome things. The Omnises were in my gym bag for a long time because they were very reliable. Very reliable. I love that shoe. I love playing in that shoe. And everybody that asked me, hey, what shoe should I get? The Omnises are one of them that I recommend because it's that reliable. But the Kawhi, I mean, how are people supposed to get the Kawhi? It's a mega bra, Boba. Absolutely. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you see a good product and you can't get it. It's frustrating. It really is. So New Balance, just give the people what they want, man. Drop the Kawhi. Drop the Kawhi and send your boy a pair. I'd really appreciate it. I really would. All right, next up, I'm very excited about these ones, guys, but you guys might not be excited, but I am. I'm happy about seeing these. It's one of my favorite shoes of all time, and this is something that I saw, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? That's awesome. It is the Reebok SHAQNOSIS OG flipped. So the SHAQNOSIS, I have 2 pairs. I still have a dead stock pair. Is one of my favorite shoes ever. I love the design. I love it. Which, by the way, that toe box, right? Look at the toe box. Let me. Is there a top-down view? No, there's not. Okay, but look at the toe box here. And then if I bring this up, look at the toe box here. Very similar, right? Toe box here. And someone in the chat last week pointed this out. So shout out to you if you're still here. It looks very similar to the SHAQNOSIS, right? So, and the overall design as well looks very similar. It's got a very similar design. But so basically this colorway, it has, instead of a white upper with black overlays, it has a black upper with white overlays. This is awesome. It's in this top. It is. I love it. I love it. I rock it on the daily. It's one of the more standout sneakers in my collection, and whenever I wear them, I get compliments on them. I'm actually going to go find them in my sneaker room right now so that I could wear them tomorrow. I want to wear the SHAQNOSIS, and I love this colorway. However, Reebok says it's OG, but it's not. Here's why. Let's see if we can pull up some photos of Shaq in the SHAQNOSIS. So here he is. This is the OG pair. Now, I'm not talking about the colorway, but look at the collar height. Look how high this collar is, guys. And then look at these. That's not OG, baby. Not OG. Now, I know why they did this, to make it more accessible, but I think they should have dropped it OG with this high collar. I want that. Reebok, are you listening? I want this high collar. I want it. Someone clip this and send it to Reebok, because that's what I want. I think it looks better because the collar here looks too fat. I think this is a sleeker design. I think it looks way better. Are you guys with me? Most of you guys are copying in the chat, but Sus Avocado says Mega Drop. Not a fan, Josiah says. But a lot of you guys like them. Vibe likes them. Brad Butler says no, high highs. Yeah, these are definitely high highs. But I think they should have done this. They could have done this, but it is what it is. But when are these releasing? $140. Little too expensive. Those materials better be good for $140. I'm just saying. It just says it's going to release soon. It's going to release soon. But yeah, I'm looking to cop a pair because I really like these. It should be $120 though. But that's not all. Reebok ain't done. Josiah, my man, my Spider-Man fan, my fellow Spidey fan. What do you think about these?
Bruh.
Mega drop. Not a fan. Here's what they should have did. This cracked material, get rid of it. In fact, I would say that they should just get rid of those overlays, strip it, just leave the upper, and then put that web graphic there. Instead of those overlays. You know what I'm saying? That's what they should have did. A stripped down version of it. That would have looked cool. And then also, whatever's going on here with the outsole, it looks like a yellow tinted blue translucent outsole. But maybe it's green. Red. Put red. Black Widow style colorway. That would have been dope. And that might have been a cop. But as it sits right now, it's a mega drop. Are you guys with me? My phone is blowing up. Okay, it's nothing important. I got a little worried there. I thought maybe it was my mom, maybe it was my grandparents or something, but no, it wasn't. So, hey, knock on wood. Yeah, I don't like these. Reebok missed opportunity here. What's this? Okay, interesting outsole or insole with skulls. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Here's the outsole. The outsole looked cool from the bottom, but should have been red. Should have been red. These are gonna drop on October 14th, so it looks like a Halloween style colorway or inspired colorway. 140 bucks. I think you guys are with me. Most of you guys are dropping. Oh yeah, Sus Avocado, a pink outsole to make Venoms would have been cool as well. That would have been super cool, especially since Reebok is owned by Adidas, so you know they have that license. Adidas. It's not that hard, Reebok. Just do it. Like Nike. Whatever. Whatever, Reebok. Let's move on. Oh boy, we got a lot to get through. This show is going long. Okay, let's go rapid fire, baby. All right. Nike Air Raid is coming back. One of the most classic sneakers in the Nike basketball catalog, specifically for outdoors. This is going to be a great outdoors option. I don't know how hyped it's going to be, but I love this colorway. I bought some Nike Elite socks with this pattern, so I already love it. But it's not a cop for me. It's going to be a drop. They're going to be expensive, and I like my Air Bacons better. It's simple, but this is awesome, and a lot of people love this colorway. So if you struck out last time, I think around 2015 is the last time we saw these retro. You're getting a second chance here. These are called the Urban Jungle Gym Nike Air Raids. So here they go. Now, the reason why these are so good for outdoor use is because look at this outsole, guys. Oh, my goodness. Deep, durable. You're not messing those up. You're not. You're absolutely not. It's a very 90s style shoe. A lot of you guys aren't liking these. Levon Green says, no, 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 no. But Ethan says, oh, man, with some fire emojis. You like these, Ethan? I like them too, but I don't like them enough to cop. I'd rather save my money for something else. I'm just saying. But there you guys have it. A retro is coming. All right, next up, Rose 11. What is this? This is the wrong link. Oh, no, 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 no. I got the wrong link, guys. Okay, let's go to sneaker news. Signal Green Rose 11. What do you guys think about these? I like the green. I like the black. That's a good color combo. But I'm just not feeling the Rose 11. I'm not. The drop. I'm not feeling it. I'm not. It's uninspiring in my opinion. It looks like an Adidas team shoe in my opinion. In my opinion, the Rose line has fell off, in my opinion. It's just, ooh, the traction looks like the Rose 8, though. Rose 8. Oh, my gosh. The traction looks beastly, but it's not enough to cop. But the traction looks beastly, I will say. My man Josiah says it looks kind of generic. Yeah, I agree. It does look generic. It looks like an Adidas team shoe, so I'm going to drop these. Yeah, there was a time where the Rose line was one of the more anticipated sneakers of the season. I mean, I would say up to the Rose 4 or 5, right after he got injured, it started to fall off. But yeah, the Rose line, I remember the Rose 2 and 3, extremely hyped releases. Extremely hyped releases. And the Rose 1.5 was very hard to get your hands on. Very hard. But yeah, it just fell off. It just fell off. Let's move on, though. All right. I want to talk about these before we end the show. We'll end the show soon here because we're coming up on an hour. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I also have an announcement to make at the end of the video. This is the Under Armour Hover Breakthrough, and it was designed exclusively for women's athletes, which I'm just going to take a second here to use my platform to say that is absolutely, positively awesome. That's awesome. We know Steph Curry got a letter from his fan who was a girl who said, why don't you make more girl shoes? And he said, you're absolutely right. So we saw Under Armour make a Curry sneaker for girls. And here we're seeing a sneaker that was designed for women. Now, I'd imagine that men could wear these as well. They're probably going to drop in unisex sizes, but they designed it exclusively for women, But what does that mean, Geronman? What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. According to this here, it's let's see if it says it has a shallow instep, which I'm not sure what that means, but it has a narrower heel. I can't say that word. Narrower ankle and a women-specific arch shape. So women do have thinner, narrower feet, and their arches are much, much higher as well. So it's interesting here to see Under Armour design a shoe for that foot style. Now, if you're a guy and you have that foot style, you have ladies' feet. Just kidding. Just kidding. Sometimes some guys have higher arch feet. That's just how it is. You don't have ladies' feet. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it is cool to see that. And if you have that style of foot, you might want to look at these. But yeah, it has hover foam, a full rubber outsole, arc shank support, a flex zone. It's interesting. It's not the greatest, shoe in terms of technology, but I think Under Armour is ahead of the curve here, designing a shoe specifically for women. The materials look cheap, like a shoe that I want to show you right after this. The materials look cheap, but the traction looks good. There is hover foam, but it looks like only in the heel. Some things could be improved on here, but it's awesome to see Under Armour design this exclusively for women, and that's something that we don't see very often. We don't. So I thought it was pretty cool, and I want to give this shoe the attention that it deserves because, like I said, Under Armour seems to be ahead of the curve here. So I think this is smart because a lot of girls are going to get these on their AAU teams. And they're going to be wearing Under Armour and they're going to be familiar with the brand and their products. And when those girls grow up and they go shopping for athletic shoes, they're probably going to lean more towards Under Armour. That's how a grassroots program works. And it's effective. That's how Nike got into the heads of all of us. Because we grew up wearing Nike. And now when we grow up and we have money to spend on our own, we're going to spend it on Nike. It is what it is. But I want to grab a shoe real quickly here because it pertains to Under Armour. eSpace sent me over the Embiid ones, and I'm going to have a video probably up tomorrow, Tuesday at the latest, about the Embiid one and why this is a shoe that you guys should have your eye on. There's some things on this shoe that impressed me so much, and I don't want to spoil it for the video, but I'm telling you guys, Under Armour is on to something here with the Embiid one. So this is not only getting me excited for the Embiid line, but it's getting me excited for future Under Armour models as well. Okay, so looking forward, I'm going to keep my eye on Under Armour sneakers because I got to be honest, the past couple of years, I've just been uninspired by them. I haven't been liking what I've seen from Under Armour, but the Embiid one has got me back on track. But there are some things that I really don't like about these as well, but you're just going to have to wait for the video to find out what those things are. What do I like and what do I don't like? But, you know what? We're pushing here on an hour. There were a few other sneakers I wanted to get to, but nothing major. So I think I'm going to start to end the show here. I want to thank everyone for joining the sneaker show again. Remember, we have a video on the Embiid ones coming out. I'm going to go record some B-roll for it, some of that saucy B-roll, and then I'm going to start editing the video. I already recorded it. So it's basically a performance review video that I'm dropping. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys could, right now, just hit a like on this video. That really helps me out so much, guys. It would really, really, really make my day. Saquon Barkley was my first pick, and he got injured. So cheer me up a bit. 2020 has been very rough for everyone. Cheer me up by just hitting a thumbs. Can we get a 1,500 likes on this video? That would be absolutely incredible. But again, we will be back on the Sneaker Show next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific. As always, stay tuned for the Embiid 1 video as well as the next episode of NBA Kicks. I also got a Freak 1 review coming out as well. Big videos coming out on the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate everyone. Thanks to Josiah for moderating once again, my man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.